I think that we've gotten parenting all wrong. Not because parents don't care. Actually, it's the opposite. The parents that I work with, they care very, very deeply. And they're reading the books, they're listening to podcasts, they're watching videos, they're staying up late, worrying, Googling things, trying harder, second guessing themselves, wondering how it is that they're failing and so worried that it's going to be their fault. And yet many of them are asking, like, why is this so hard? What am I missing? Like, am I failing my child? Almost we're the worst family ever. But I don't think you're failing. And I think that many of us have been handed a roadmap that doesn't fit the children that we are raising. And I think that it's time that we built something different. Not perfect parenting, not permissive parenting, not fear-based parenting, something different. If you've ever felt like the strategies that seem to work for everybody else are not working in your home, then this video is for you. People ask me sometimes, like, why are you so passionate about families? Like, isn't that hard work? Like, there's easier things that I could do, especially with the degrees that I have. The truth is that I didn't stumble into it. I feel like I spent my entire life studying families and kids that had really big challenges. What I didn't know until I got started was that the kids with really big challenges came from pretty hard situations. I have worked for close to 20 years now with parents in crisis. I've sat with families and after school meetings that didn't go well, and I've talked to parents who whispered through the tears, I don't think I can do this anymore, and wanting to give up. I have watched incredible parents question everything that they thought that they knew, because the strategies that worked for one child or worked for all their other kids is not working with this child. And this is the one that they're the most concerned about, and the one that they feel like, okay, I guess we're failures, or they're worried about the rest of the kids because of this child. And I've lived enough of life to know and had my own experiences with hardships and being adopted and living in an adoptive family and wishing that my adoptive parents knew some of the things that I think that I knew I needed in family. And yet at the same time being incredibly thankful for my adoptive family because of the things that they did do. And that was at a time when there wasn't any conversation around it. In fact, my whole goal growing up was not to anybody to know that I was adopted, that I was just to fit in. But love is real, and families are complicated, and good parents can still feel completely lost. And I know what it's like to desperately want to do the right thing and to wonder if you're missing something important, and you're trying to, dot all your I's and cross all your T's. And you go to bed at night thinking, I didn't do enough, or I didn't connect enough, or I'm failing this child. And I've seen what happens when parents actually really understand what their child needs and how to get there, even when it seems counterintuitive. And everything starts to change. And some of it feels like it's overnight, but not necessarily to the family, because it's these little things that they're doing that I am guiding them in doing, and the changes are happening gradually. I can see the difference. I can see it even through the internet, in the energy that's in the home and talking to the parents. But the fear begins to lift, and the guilt starts to loosen, and parents start to feel like they have confidence because they know what to do. And families begin to heal. And that's why I keep showing up. Those aha moments, or those times when families might not even realize that before they couldn't go to an activity, or they had to take two separate cars because the kids were ready to kill each other if they were in the car together. And one day they just realized, like, oh my gosh, like we all went to this event, or we all sat together at the table and no one had to leave the table. There were no meltdowns. And it matters so much to me. I just love it. It's not a job to me. And I think it's because families matter so deeply. I feel like it's way more important fabric in our lives and in our communities than maybe we have even acknowledged. I think that a lot of us were taught that parenting is mostly about compliance. You have good kids if they do what you tell them to do. If you have kids that listen, if you get your kids to obey, get kids to behave, then you're a parent, right? Like you're a good parent. And then reality hits. And some of us just don't have kids that fit that script. And some of us have had children who absolutely are not going to, especially if they've come from hard places into your home. There are so many kids today that are filled with anxiety, children that are impacted by trauma, kids that have attachment challenges, children with ADHD, children with executive functioning struggles, and I would lump all of those kids that I just described into that, and kids who melt down over transitions or their sock not being right, or noise being too loud, or anxiety about trying something new, or kids that just don't stop. They get completely wound up after dinner and they're making everybody crazy. And I remember this one dad, his child after dinner was just basically like running around the house, and he was doing a good job of trying to keep him, moving in the direction that he wanted him to go. And he just looked at me and he said, 2.5 years of this, no wonder I feel like I'm going crazy. And, these kids, they feel everything so intensely, and yet they feel nothing at all sometimes for the people around them that are dealing with things. And so all the parenting advice that everybody might be giving you, it's just not working. The sticker charts, the consequences, lectures, the reward system, the things that make you have to work twice as hard as a parent, instead of helping the child to carry some of that load of growing up, right? But instead of questioning the tools, a lot of parents, they question themselves. And I don't know if you've done that, but that's the worst. Maybe you're thinking, I'm too soft, or I'm too strict, or I'm ruining my child, or I'm not cut out for this, or maybe you're trying to find some positive in that you're trying so hard to parent differently than how you were parented, or parent differently than how the other parent is parenting. And I want you to hear me. Your child is not bad, and you're not broken, and you need a different roadmap. And maybe that's exactly what you need, is a different roadmap, especially for them. What if we stopped just trying to raise easy kids or good kids? And what if we focused on raising safe kids, resilient kids, kids who know how to repair after they make mistakes, kids who tolerate discomfort, kids who understand their emotions, but also know what to do with them, and parents that know how to help them to do that instead of being afraid of them. Kids who know that they're loved, but have real limits, and the limits are firm. And what if you stop parenting from fear and anxiety, fear of judgment, fear of getting it wrong, fear of being blamed? What if you had support? And what if you knew that you didn't have to figure it out alone? What if we stopped pretending that parenting is supposed to be instinctive, that you should just know what to do? What if that's not even true? Because you think that maybe loving your child should be natural and you should just know this stuff, but it's not. And learning how to lead them through the challenges, it's a skill too. And maybe you were taught those skills, or maybe you weren't. Maybe you are neurodivergent yourself, and so you struggle to take what you're learning and apply it into your parenting. See, the skills can be learned, and that's the movement that I want to be part of. Parents choosing intention over panic, and connection and structure and compassion and leadership. And I'm going to go back to structure, because we've had all of the compassionate, the gentle and all of that, but without the structure. We need both. We need progress, but it's over perfection. And families learning together. What if your family could all be working on these things? And so it wasn't just the bad kid, right? The kid that's having trouble, the one that, like, I need this program because of you, but really learning together and learning how to start over and reconnect and healing and growing one family at a time. That gets me about, it's not just beautiful words. It looks like taking a breath before responding. It looks like knowing how to repair after a hard moment and knowing how to help your child to know how to do that. It knows how to see the behavior as communication, but it also knows how to help them to communicate in a better way. It's about holding boundaries without shame. It's about understanding what's going on inside their brain and not being afraid of it, or not just understanding it and so excusing it. It's adjusting expectations without giving up hope. And it's asking for support before you're drowning. It's trying again tomorrow. It's realizing that it's never too late to turn things around. And the next day, it looks so ordinary, but it's incredible and it's brave. Because changing the way that we parent often means changing the stories that we've carried for generations. I've worked in families where it's generations of this kind of stuff that's been going on. So if you've been here watching these videos for practical strategies, I'm really glad that you're here. And I'm going to keep giving them because parents need tools. But I hope that you'll stay for something bigger, because I don't think that we're just collecting parenting tips. I think we're building a different future. I think that what I've seen, especially as I've been doing this long enough to now see these kids grow up and start their own families, is that we're building a different future. We're affecting generations, a future where parents are not suffering in silence, a future where children don't have to just try to fit in, but where they can belong and feel supported. A future where families know that asking for help is not weakness, it's wisdom. Listen, if you're tired of parenting from guilt, fear, and in survival mode, I hope you'll stick around. Yes, watch the videos, share them with your friends, share them with another parent. Tell somebody that they're not alone. And if you're thinking, I need help figuring out what this looks like in my actual family, please know that's what I do. I don't just talk on videos. I don't just write books. I help families. And I work with parents individually. I work in groups, and sometimes I work one-on-one. A lot of times I work one-on-one with you. You don't just need information, because I really believe that you need somebody to walk alongside you. You need somebody that you can text when it looks like everything is going south and you're worried that you're going to have to call the police. And instead you can call your coach and you can say, help, what do I do? And I can step in and give you that help so that you can, even if you have to call, you know that you did the right thing, or you can de-escalate the situation. We're building something different here. It's not perfect families and it's not perfect kids. It's parents who are willing to grow and learn and lead with courage.